Okay, picture this. You're at a party. Maybe it's a networking mixer or a friend's housewarming.
Mm-hmm.
You're holding a drink, you're in a small circle, and you are having a really, really good conversation. You're nodding, you're laughing, you are fully locked in.
You're in the flow.
Exactly. The vibe is good, the connection is there, you feel seen.
The social contract is working perfectly.
Yes. And then a third person walks up to join your group. You smile, you open up your body language to welcome them in, ready to, make introductions.
Right.
And suddenly, snap. The person you were just talking to turns to the newcomer and starts speaking a completely different language, one that you do not understand.
And just like that, the lights go out.
It creates this very specific, very visceral silence inside your head. You're standing there with that frozen smile still plastered on your face, nodding like a bobblehead, but you've been completely severed from the interaction.
Mm-hmm. You check your phone, look around the room.
You study the ice in your drink, but inside you are seething. It feels real.
Yeah.
It's a cocktail of emotions, isn't it? A little bit of awkwardness mixed with rejection and maybe a dash of confusion.
But then, and I think this is where most of us land, the guilt kicks in. You catch yourself and you think, wait, am I being intolerant? Am I the bad guy here for wanting them to speak English?
It is an incredibly common internal struggle. You feel rude for feeling like they're being rude. It's a paradox.
So to resolve that struggle, today we are unpacking a source titled The Ethics of Abrupt Linguistic Exclusion, which I have to say sounds very academic for something that feels so personal.
It does sound heavy, but it's actually a very practical breakdown of why this happens and, why it hurts.
So what's our mission for this deep dive?
Our mission is to validate exactly why that specific interaction feels so jarring. We're going to move past the knee-jerk reactions and really dissect the psychology of exclusion versus context.
Okay.
And, maybe most importantly, we are going to outline the actual social norms, the playbook, really, for how to handle these multilingual settings without making anyone feel like, well, furniture.
Right. Because we need to be clear right off the bat. This isn't about demanding everyone speak your language all the time.
Absolutely not. If you take one thing away from this, it's that this isn't about policing language. It is about policing manners. It's about the subtle social signals of priority and politeness. It's about how we treat the human being standing 3 feet away from us.
Okay, so let's get into the meat of this. The source creates this fascinating contrast between two scenarios to explain why we get mad in one instance but not the other.
Scenario A and Scenario B.
Right.
Yeah. This comparison is the foundation of the whole argument. It's the control group for our little social experiment.
Okay, so scenario A is exactly what I just described in the intro. Let's really break down the timeline of that because the sequence really matters here.
The sequence is everything. In Scenario A, you have an established connection. That's step 1.
Right.
You and the other person are actively engaged. You have a rhythm. You have a shared focus. The channel is open.
We're synced up.
Then the third person arrives, and the pivot happens immediately. There is no preamble, no transition. The original speaker just, switches frequencies.
And that's where the source says the damage is done. It argues that specific switch acts as a form of deliberate sidelining.
Deliberate sidelining. That is the phrase to underline. The analysis suggests that by switching without warning, the speaker is signaling a shift in priority. It's not just that you can't understand the words, it's that your participation in the group has been revoked unilaterally, without your consent.
It's so jarring. It's like someone just hung up the phone on you while you were mid-sentence to talk to someone else on another line.
Actually, I'd argue it's worse than that, because you're still standing there. You're physically present but socially erased.
Oh, wow.
You were trapped in the circle.
Oof. Socially erased. That hits hard.
Yeah.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second. Is it really about the behavior? Or are we just, insecure that we don't know what they're saying?
Right. Are we just mad that we aren't smart enough to speak Portuguese or French?
Exactly.
That is the million-dollar question. Is it linguistic insecurity? And that is why the source introduces Scenario B.
Walk us through Scenario B.
Okay, Scenario B. You walk up to 2 people who are already speaking a different language. Let's say they're speaking Portuguese. You walk up to say hello, and they continue speaking Portuguese.
Okay.
Maybe they nod at you, acknowledge you with a smile, but the stream of Portuguese continues.
Okay. I'm picturing that.
Be honest. How does that feel compared to Scenario A?
It's totally different. I mean, I might feel a little awkward standing there, not knowing what to do with my hands, but I don't feel insulted. I don't feel angry at them.
Precisely. In scenario A, you feel rejected. In scenario B, you just feel like guest or maybe a bit of an intruder.
Right, because in scenario B, I'm the one joining an existing dynamic. There's no reasonable expectation that they should instantly drop their conversation and change their entire mode of communication just because I entered their radius.
Exactly. When they continue in Portuguese, it feels natural. It's not directed at you, it's just the continuation of what was already happening.
So you're witnessing it, not being excluded from it.
Exactly.
So the core difference, and I think this is the aha moment for me, is that the frustration has almost nothing to do with the actual language being spoken.
It has zero to do with vocabulary or grammar.
If I was mad about the language, I'd be mad in scenario B too. But I'm not.
Correct. And the source synthesizes this perfectly. It says, most people who get upset about the first situation aren't actually demanding that everyone in the world must always speak their language.
Thank goodness. I don't want to be that person. You know, the entitled tourist demanding English everywhere.
You aren't being that person. What stings is the sudden, unacknowledged exclusion in the middle of an ongoing interaction. It is the switch that is the villain here.
It's the switch. That is such a clarifying way to put it. It's the moment the door slams shut.
And if we want to go a little deeper into the psychology of this, and I think this is where the source really shines, it uses a really powerful term to describe your status in the group. It talks about the feeling of being demoted.
Demoted. That implies a hierarchy.
Well, all social interactions have a subtle hierarchy. When you are talking to someone one-on-one, you are peers. You are equals in the conversation.
Okay.
The moment they switch to a code you cannot understand, specifically to talk to someone else, you are instantly demoted to bystander, or worse, observer.
There's a quote in the source that I highlighted 3 times. It says, "It can genuinely feel like you stopped mattering the moment someone else walked up."
That is the emotional core of this. You stopped mattering.
And that's why it feels so personal. It's not just, oh, I missed that data point regarding the weather. It's, oh, my presence is no longer required.
It's a massive social signal. We are constantly sending signals to each other about belonging and status. And this behavior sends a neon flashing signal that says, you are no longer the priority here.
The new person is the priority.
Exactly. The shared language is the priority. You.
Yeah.
You are furniture.
Furniture. That is exactly what it feels like. You're just a lamp standing there holding a beverage. A lamp that is keenly aware it doesn't belong.
And that is why the source is so firm on this validation. It says explicitly, your feeling is not unreasonable or overly sensitive.
I feel like I need to hear that. Because in the moment, you do feel petty. You think, why am I letting this bother me? I should be cooler than this.
But it's a biological reaction to being demoted in real time without a heads up. Humans are social animals. Exclusion triggers the same parts of the brain as physical pain.
That sounds dramatic.
It sounds dramatic, but it's true. That switch is a violation of the social contract. You are engaged, and then you are erased. That hurts anyone.
There's also the element of paranoia, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely. That's the other layer of the psychology. When the switch happens abruptly, your brain immediately tries to fill in the gap.
And it usually fills it with insecurity.
Right. Are they talking about me?
Are they commenting on my haircut? Did I say something stupid?
Even if you logically know they are probably just saying hello, the brain wanders there. It creates a secret channel of communication right in front of your face. It breeds distrust.
Okay, so we've established the crime. We know why it hurts. We know we aren't crazy. But we live in a global world. People speak different languages. It's a beautiful thing.
Right. We don't want to discourage that.
Not at all. So the question becomes, how do we handle this? If I'm the one who needs to switch languages, maybe my grandmother walks up and she doesn't speak English. How do I do it without turning my friend into a lamp?
This is the constructive part of the deep dive. The source outlines what it calls polite multilingual moves. Think of these as your toolkit for maintaining social harmony.
Let's go through them, because I think we've all been on both sides of this. Sometimes you do need to switch.
Sometimes the switch is unavoidable. Maybe the new person doesn't speak the common language well. Maybe you need to clarify a nuance that only exists in your native tongue. But there is a right way to do it. Mitigation strategy number 1, and frankly the most effective one, the heads up.
A heads up, it sounds so simple.
It is simple, but remarkably, a lot of people don't do it. The strategy is acknowledge the switch before doing it.
So what does that sound like in practice? Give me the script.
Okay, so it sounds like this. You're talking to me. The third person arrives. I turn to you and say, oh, sorry, he doesn't speak English very well, mind it. I've quickly explained something to him in Portuguese.
See, just hearing you say that changed the entire energy.
Right. Because what did I just do?
You asked for my permission. Well, not permission exactly, but you acknowledged my presence. You explained why the exclusion is happening.
I kept you in the loop. Even though you won't understand the next 30 seconds of audio, you understand the context of the audio.
You haven't been demoted.
You've been informed. It's a key distinction. I'm still an active participant. I'm just on hold for a second. It bridges the gap.
It tells you, I'm not leaving you. I'm just taking a detour. Okay, that's huge. But what about afterwards? Say you have the quick exchange in Portuguese. Do you just snap back to English and pretend nothing happened?
You could, but you can do better. That's mitigation strategy number 2. The summary.
The summary. This is about bringing the person back into the fold.
Yes. It revalidates their membership in the group. After you have that quick exchange, you turn back to the original person and say, I just told him we were talking about the conference, and he said he's really enjoying the keynote.
It's like closing the loop.
Yep.
It proves you didn't forget me.
And it doesn't have to be a transcript.
Yeah.
Right? Nobody wants a word-for-word translation.
God, no.
They just want the gist. He said yes, or he asked where the bathroom is, just enough to show that you aren't keeping secrets. It kills that paranoia we talked about earlier.
It effectively proves you weren't talking about my haircut.
Exactly.
Now, let me throw a curveball. What if you're in a situation where you can't really stop and explain? Maybe it's chaotic, loud music, or it's just a super quick interaction.
Right. That brings us to mitigation strategy number 3. Nonverbal cues.
Body language.
Never underestimate the power of the face. The source point out that even if you can't translate verbally, your body can translate socially.
So what's the move here?
Eye contact plus an apologetic facial expression.
The apologetic grimace. We all know that face. The tightened lips. The raised eyebrows.
I'm so sorry, just 1 second face. Here is the key. If you turn your back on someone physically, that's total exclusion. That is the cold shoulder, literally.
Right. You are building a wall with your shoulders.
But if you keep your body angled towards the original person, keep eye contact with them, but speak to the new person in the other language, you are signaling, I am still with you, I just need to deal with this.
It maintains the connection thread.
It's multitasking your attention. Voice to the newcomer, eyes to the friend. It's highly effective because it acknowledges that you know this is awkward.
And acknowledgement is half the battle.
It really is.
Okay, one more scenario. And this is the tough one. What if the new person comes up and they really need to talk? Like a full-blown conversation in Portuguese that's going to take 5 or 10 minutes.
Right, not just, where is the bathroom? You can't just stand there and make an apologetic face for 10 minutes. That gets creepy.
And as the bystander, I don't want to stand there staring at you for 10 minutes.
No, that would be incredibly awkward for everyone. Which brings us to mitigation strategy number 4. Duration and location.
Duration and location sounds like a real estate strategy.
In a way, it is. It's about managing the physical space. The source notes that if the side conversation needs to be long, the polite move is to invite the other person to step aside.
Hey, give us just a second. We need to sort this out.
Exactly. Excuse us for a moment. You physically move the exclusion away from the person.
It sounds counterintuitive, right? Leaving them alone seems ruder, but actually staying there is worse.
Much worse. Think about it. Doing a long, exclusive conversation right in front of someone's face while they stare at the wall is holding them hostage.
It's a hostage situation.
It is. You are forcing them to perform listening.
Perform listening. I love that term.
You know the feeling. You have to nod, smile, and look interested, even though you understand nothing. It is exhausting. It is emotional labor.
It is. You can't check your phone because that looks rude, but you can't join in. You're in limbo.
So if you step aside, you release them. You set them free. They can check their phone, grab a drink, or talk to someone else without looking like they've been forgotten.
So if it's going to be long, take it offline, take it elsewhere.
Or the alternative is to just keep the side exchange brief and return to the common language immediately.
Right. Stay in the common language as much as possible. That's the golden rule.
If everyone speaks English, speak English. If everyone speaks Spanish, speak Spanish. If you have to switch, make it a detour, not a new destination.
So bringing this all together, we have the verdict on social norms here. And I think this is useful not just for parties, but for business meetings, for family gatherings, everything.
The verdict is clear. The widespread social expectation is that you do not abruptly exclude someone who is already part of the conversation without acknowledging it.
It's not about the words. It's about the acknowledgement.
That's it. It's about visibility.
So the polite move summary is, Stay in the common language when possible. If you must switch, do it briefly with an explanation or apology, the heads up.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be long, step aside.
Simple, actionable, and it saves everyone's feelings. It prevents that demotion we talked about.
It really does. And I think what resonates with me most from this deep dive is the idea that most people aren't difficult. We aren't demanding the world revolve around us. We just don't like being invisible.
Nobody wants to feel invisible, and that
Yeah.
linguistic switch is a powerful invisibility cloak that you throw over someone else.
So next time you're at a party and you have the ability to switch languages, use your powers for good. Give the heads up. Don't make people lamps.
Be the bridge, not the wall.
I like that. Be the bridge.
But before we wrap up, I want to pivot slightly. Because as I was reading this, I started thinking about how this applies beyond just national languages.
What do you mean?
We've been talking strictly about French, Portuguese, English, but if we agree on the logic that abrupt linguistic exclusion is rude because it signals a lack of priority, this raises an important question for you, for the listener.
I'm listening.
Does this same logic apply to other forms of exclusion? Think about when you were in a group of 3 and 2 people suddenly switch to discussing inside jokes that the third person doesn't know.
Oh, wow, yeah, that is the exact same feeling.
It triggers the exact same insecurity. You're standing there, they were laughing about that time in Cabo, and you are furniture.
You smile along, but you have no idea what's funny. You are performing listening again?
Exactly. Or think about a professional setting. You are in a mixed group, say, sales and engineering, and suddenly 2 engineers switch to hyper-technical jargon that the salesperson can't follow.
The tech bro or finance bro dialect.
Did you see the EBITDA on that Q3 projection? The API integration is deprecating the legacy node.
And the graphic designer standing next to them just glosses over. Their eyes glaze over.
It is the exact same mechanism. You are switching to a language that excludes the other person without warning. You are demoting them.
Right.
You are signaling this part of the conversation is not for you.
Sorry, we're just going to speak insider for 5 minutes. Hope you don't mind.
And here's the kicker. We rarely give a heads up to that. We rarely say, sorry, this is a boring work thing. Give us a second. We just do it.
That is uncomfortable to think about. I think I've definitely been guilty of the inside joke switch. You get excited to see an old friend and you forget the new person is there.
We all have. It's a way of bonding with the person you know, but we forget the cost to the person we don't know as well.
So the provocative thought here is, where else are we switching languages without realizing it?
We might be polite enough to translate Portuguese, but are we polite enough to translate our inside jokes or our work drama when there's a third person standing right there?
Are we checking our signals? Are we demoting our friends without even saying a word?
Context is everything.
That gives me a lot to think about for my next dinner party. Check your signals, people. Don't demote your friends. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Until next time.
See ya.